What if he told you that history was not shaped by kings, emperors, or politicians but by warriors whose names still echo through time, warriors whose courage, brutality, and genius rewrote the fate of nations and changed the world forever? Stay with me until the very end, because these legendary warriors didn't just fight battles, they altered the course of human history, and their legacy still influences the world you live in today. History remembers warriors not because they were violent, but because they stood at turning points where the future could go in any direction. In moments of chaos, fear, and uncertainty, these individuals rose not as symbols, but as forces of change. Some were born into war, others were pushed into it, but all of them understood one truth: power is decided by those willing to stand when others fall. Alexander the Great was barely a man when he conquered the known world. By the age of 30, he had built one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Greece to India. He didn't win because of numbers. He won because of speed, strategy, and an unshakable belief in destiny. His soldiers followed him not out of fear, but because they believed he was unstoppable. When Alexander died young, his empire collapsed almost immediately, proving a powerful truth: some empires exist only because of one warrior's will. Centuries earlier, Achilles became the symbol of the perfect warrior. Half man, half legend. His skill on the battlefield was unmatched, but his story wasn't about invincibility, it was about mortality. Achilles showed the world that even the greatest warriors are driven by emotion, pride, rage, and grief. His choices shaped the Trojan War and reminded civilizations that warriors could be both heroes and tragedies at the same time. In the East, Sun Tzu changed history without leading armies himself. His weapon was knowledge. His book, The Art of War, became the foundation of military strategy, not just in ancient China, but across the world, used by generals, revolutionaries, and even modern corporations. Sun Tzu proved that warfare was not just about strength, but about intelligence, patience, and understanding human nature. His influence reached far beyond the battlefield. Then came Spartacus, a slave, a gladiator, a man never meant to be remembered as anything more than entertainment. Yet he led one of the greatest slave revolts in history, challenging the might of the Roman Republic itself. Spartacus didn't just fight Rome, he exposed its fear. His rebellion forced Rome to confront its cruelty and vulnerability. Even in defeat, Spartacus became a symbol of resistance that continues to inspire freedom movements to this day. Genghis Khan remains one of the most controversial figures in history. To some, he was a monster who destroyed civilizations. To others, he was a unifier who reshaped the world. Rising from exile and betrayal, he forged the Mongol tribes into the largest contiguous empire ever known. His warriors moved faster, adapted quicker, and fought smarter than any army before them. Under his rule, trade expanded, cultures connected, and the world became permanently linked. His brutality was real, but so was his impact. In Japan, the samurai embodied a warrior philosophy that blended discipline, loyalty, and honor. Figures like Miyamoto Musashi did not just win duels, they redefined combat as an art form. Musashi fought over 60 battles and never lost. His philosophy emphasized mastery of the self above all else. The samurai way influenced not just warfare, but Japanese culture, ethics, and identity for centuries. On the African continent, Shaka Zulu transformed tribal warfare into a military revolution. He reorganized armies, introduced new weapons, and trained soldiers with relentless discipline. Under his leadership, the Zulu kingdom rose rapidly, reshaping southern Africa. Shaka proved that innovation and leadership could turn small communities into powerful forces, even against overwhelming odds. In medieval Europe, Joan of Arc emerged not through strength, but belief. A teenage girl who claimed divine guidance, she inspired an army and shifted the momentum of the 100 Years' War. Her presence alone changed history, not because she wielded the sword better than others, but because she gave people faith when hope was gone. Even after her execution, her impact remained, altering the destiny of nations. The Vikings, long misunderstood as mindless raiders, were elite warriors and explorers who reshaped Europe. Legends like Ragnar Lothbrok symbolized fearless ambition. These warriors navigated oceans, established trade routes, and changed the balance of power across continents. Their culture emphasized strength, honor, and destiny, leaving behind a legacy that still fuels fascination today. In India, warriors like Maharana Pratap stood against vast empires with unmatched resolve. Refusing surrender, even in defeat, he became a symbol of resistance and honor. His battles were not just against enemies, but against the idea that power alone decides destiny. Warriors like him shaped cultural identity as much as political outcome. Across centuries and continents, the pattern remains the same. Legendary warriors rise when systems break. They appear when history reaches a crossroads. Some bring unity, some bring destruction, but all of them forced change. What truly connects these warriors is not the weapons they carried or the battles they fought, it is the mark they left on humanity. Their actions reshaped borders, belief systems, and the very idea of power. Without them, history would have taken a completely different path. But that is not the truth. History doesn't always tell. These warriors paid a price. Their lives were short, their endings were often violent. Glory came with sacrifice. Behind every victory was loss. Behind every legend was blood, pain, and consequence. History remembers the triumphs, but the warriors lived the cost. Why do these stories still matter today? Because modern power struggles are built on the same principles: leadership, strategy, fear, hope, belief. The battlefield has changed, but human nature has not. If you're still watching, it means you understand that history is alive. It's not buried in the past, it breathes through the decisions we make today. This channel exists to uncover the figures who shaped the world through courage, intelligence, and sometimes ruthless force. If you want more stories about the warriors, empires, and forgotten figures who forged history, now is the moment to subscribe. Because understanding the past is the only way to recognize the future. And remember the power of those who dared to stand when the world was uncertain. Legendary warriors who changed history forever.